right, welcome back to the Built by Vitality podcast. I am Steve Pinkerton. I'm sitting next to
Philip Lewis.
And we have Ginny Moore with us today. And this starts our selection process for Philip's replacement. This is our first contestant.
Okay. Actually, it's replacing you. She come in here and she was on point with positioning and everything.
And on time.
Yes. Time.
So today we're going to talk about finding time for fitness. And one of the reasons that I want to talk about that is because I think so many people, they prioritize things in a way that doesn't allow them to ever get back into or start into a fitness routine. And I think if you can show people how to balance your time and show people that it is possible, it'll help some different people focus on themselves. And I think when you look at what the benefit of that is, when you talk about fitness and family and work and relationships, you really can't have that without some type of outlet. And fitness, I've always thought, needs to be that outlet for people. And the reason we chose Ginny for this podcast is simple. I'm sick of looking at Philip. No, the reason is simple. If Ginny with two, I would say you're not a new mom, but your kids are, Connor's how old?
3.
Connor's 3 and Anderson is?
She'll be 18 months.
18 months. So if Ginny can find time with 2 small kids to be as consistent as she is in the gym, then I don't care what you're doing, whether you're a business owner, whether you're an employee, whether you're a stay-at-home mom with grown kids. I think that my favorite excuse when someone comes in and says, I just don't have the time. I've got my, I'm a brand new mom. I'm like, oh, how old are your kids? And like, they're 12 and 14 years old. And I'm like, okay. Wow. All right.
Jenny's working, coaching,
yep,
and being a mom and taking care of Jeff.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
So
Jeff does a pretty good job taking care of us too.
So we'll get into Ginny's background. Ginny's been here for 10 years, which is crazy when you think about that. She met her husband here, Jeff, who we all love, and now she's got 2 kids. She coaches for us. She's been coaching for I don't know how many.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
Yeah,
maybe more than that.
It's wild when you really stop and think about how long some people have been here.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't remember a time when Ginny wasn't here at Vitality. But we're all creatures of habit, and we crave this structure. And usually, like I said, when there's things that come in that mess up our structure or our routine, the first thing to go is whatever we're doing for ourselves. That whether that's fitness, whether you're a yoga person, it doesn't matter what it is. That's usually the first thing that we take out. So what I think will be interesting to talk with Ginny about is the transformation she's had to make from when she first got into Vitality. She was a monster. I don't know if you remember the days. I mean,
I think I was still at Northlake and stuff, and I was like, man.
But I'm telling you,
over there, they're
got
awesome.
a lot more free time.
Before Connor, and really like right in the beginning, you've got that new exposure to CrossFit, and it was like, Ginny was built for it. What was your background before CrossFit?
So before that, I coached body pump, or I taught, because you technically do it with the class.
Yep.
So I taught body pump and then yoga. So
Les Mills,
that.
right?
Uh-huh.
Just did, I think it was
like
body pump or body attack or something. You have to memorize the routines.
You have to memorize the routine, and then you do it with the class. So it's a lot of work that goes into preparing for it.
I remember Jess would get these videos, and she'd be in the living room, like, getting it.
Yeah.
And like 5 times a day. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I got to memorize this.
Learning the music.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So then what about, you went to UNCC and you were a cheerleader?
No.
What'd you do?
I was
your
a
background?
fun college sorority girl.
Were you in cheer before college?
I cheered in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did that in like gymnastics and dance.
Did you work out through college? Was that something
Only
that you
before spring break to get back in shape.
Yes.
I was probably definitely my heaviest, unhealthiest during college
Okay.
because it was all about partying.
That sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Now, after college, what happens? What do you do?
After college, my dad's like, you got to do something, Jenny. So I started going to the sports center and taking body pump classes because my parents were doing it. And then that led to them asking me, do you want to become an instructor? And so I had to go to Charleston and I got certified. And so I started really getting into taking just like group fitness classes like that. And I enjoyed that more than just doing something on my own by myself, trying to figure it out.
And so at what point did you come to Vitality? You were 24, so that
yeah.
was a couple years after college.
I had graduated college, and I'll have to give her a little shout out, Kim McMurray. She was already a member here, and she was an instructor at the sports center, and she was just talk about Vitality. And so that's why one day I just showed up here, and I was like, I'll see what CrossFit is. And I think I signed on the dot. I'm here.
Kim McMurray has been like the ambassador of Vitality for long. I mean, she's incredible. So yes, I'm sure we'll have to tag her. Maybe this will be our intro. So Kim,
Yep.
Okay.
somehow Kim's made it to
Gotta give her
like
a
3 or
shout
4
out.
of our podcasts, and
I know.
we might
should
might
have
have
her
to
on here.
That's because everybody knows Kim. So you all have a story with or about Kim.
We should have her on here.
We might have to be okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's another one.
Okay. And then, so you get into Vitality.
Yep.
You obviously were built for this with your background and with your gymnastics background through cheer, through all this stuff. And you just turn into this incredible athlete. And now you meet Jeff. Everything's like full bore into the gym. And then boom, first baby.
Yeah.
So to go from having that type of fitness level, and then you're like, okay, well now it's, and during that time, it really was all about you. I mean, I would imagine
Yeah.
before Connor, it was all about
I mean,
you.
Laura and I paid someone to program for us. We would work out in the morning, we'd work out in the afternoon, we'd work out in the evening. And then when I married Jeff, like we would get to come work out in the mornings together. And now I can't tell you the last time we've worked out together because someone's at home and someone's at the gym and we tag team.
And so you go to that, then have this. I would imagine you get pregnant, and now it turns from being all about you to not anything about you and all about the baby. And then you've got to give this up. So you worked out all through your first pregnancy.
Yep, the entire time.
And then your new moms, is it 6 weeks or 8 weeks post pregnancy? You have to wait.
So it was 4 weeks when I was released.
4 weeks.
And I had 2 C-sections, and I was both released 4 weeks.
I would like to be in that that
Well-
doctor's office when Jenny asked, "Hey, so what exactly
I
am
know.
I
They
able to
have
do?"
no clue.
And she's like, "I just, I work out a little bit here and
little
there."
bit, yeah.
Like, okay,
I go
just
for
take
a
it
walk.
easy. And then she's back in here, back squatting. the
I
world.
will say with Connor, I was awful. I remember I got cleared Friday morning. I came and it was your 5 p.m. class that night, and it was running and back squats and everything that you should not have done, and I did. And I felt like a caged animal, and I was just free. That's
I
how
remember
good
after
it
you had
felt.
your baby, you come back in here, and I thought it was pretty quick that you were back
Yeah.
in here. It was an early morning. I had done 5 a.m. or something. Or no, I came to do a 6 a.m. class, and I looked over, and I couldn't see that far. I said, I think I asked Ryan Horn or somebody. I said, who is that over there? And they're like, that's Jenny. And I was like, Jenny that just had a baby, Jenny. I was like, that's Jenny. They're like, yep. And she just did the CrossFit class. I said, oh my God, she just had a baby.
I don't know what's
Yeah.
worse for people is when like 8 or 9 month pregnant Jenny beats them in a workout, or hey, she had a baby 4 weeks ago, beats
Yeah.
you in a workout. So either way, but then you see this transformation. I mean, you go from being pregnant, having a baby, taking a month off, and then having to get back in and start from scratch. Now, granted,
Yeah.
you've got this like, it's kind of people that get injured and come back. You've got this kind of fresh look at it, and you're very hungry,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
I was ready.
But at the same time, you also, it's got to be frustrating to be like, man, I was at this level, and now I'm like starting back over
Yeah.
again. So then she builds herself all back up, and she's again a monster again. I'm like, gosh, Ginny's back. and literally, I remember seeing Ginny. I'm like, maybe she's not going to do the class today because I really don't want her to put her score up. And then she put her score up, and then she gets pregnant again with Anderson.
Yeah.
And
Surprise.
the process starts all over
Yeah.
again. So then you go through the whole thing again, and would you say what was the difference between pregnancy 1 and pregnancy 2?
I was way smarter with her. So with her, I did more just lifting on my own. And a lot of that was at the beginning, I was super nauseous. So doing a CrossFit class was not going to happen or I'd throw up. So I would just do more lifting on my own. And I think I don't say took it easy, but I just didn't do things that I did with Connor. With Connor, I was doing butterfly pull-ups at 6 months pregnant, just dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Just to prove that I still could do it. I mean, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should still be doing it. So I was a lot smarter the second time around.
What was it difficult to stay motivated when you knew there was going to be like a stopping point? Like you knew that the pregnancy was going to happen on whatever date, and you're going to have to take this time off. Did you find it harder to make it into the gym leading up to that, knowing that you're like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I might as well just stop now,
Yeah.
type of deal.
For me, no, because if I didn't come, I would have been just a not nice person.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like you said, this is where I come to just get my time in, even if it's 1 hour by
Yeah.
myself to just clear my head. Then
So for
Then I'm
you, it
better.
was almost more mentally psychological
Yes.
than it was the physical. Like,
Yeah.
you weren't. Yeah,
like Sundays are very hard for me because there's no Vitality open.
yeah,
So
yeah.
go for extra long walks or something.
I can see Jeff getting beat at home, like on Sunday, like, we're doing something, Jeff. Get your stuff on. We're going somewhere. Jeff's like, it's Sunday.
Well, he'll look at me and I'll be like doing my abs on the floor. He's like, really? And he's like putting away groceries, preparing for the rest of the week.
She's doing
laugh.
body pump on Sundays. And,
Yeah. Still got my bar.
We laugh a lot because on Saturday mornings we'll test the workout, and we either get Ginny or we get Jeff.
Yep.
And when Jeff's here, he's always like, we'll finish the workout. He's like, I got 13 minutes and I got to be home. I'm like, okay. And we all laugh. Like, I guarantee you, Ginny is in the car at the end of the driveway waiting for you.
I
pull
am.
in.
I've gotten better. Now I bring the kids to the gym and then leave them in the car, switch off.
What do you think? What's the biggest difference from Ginny today training versus Ginny 10 years ago training?
I don't work out nearly as long, but I almost feel like my workouts count more now than they did because I know, all right, you have 1 hour to do this and you need to get the most out of it because you're going to be going home to who knows what later on, and
Yeah.
you're not going to be working out again.
I think so many people, and that's what we talked about, people that give up that ability to work out and have that release. I mean, how much is that going to flow over into other areas of your life?
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume, like you said, Ginny, if you take your 1 hour of fitness away, I bet your interactions at home will be very different than they are,
If
with
mama
it.
ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Yeah.
And I'm just cranky,
Yeah.
So I know if I work out, then I'm just going to be a lot better mom later on. Even Jeff knows it. Like, I think Jeff prioritizes me getting to the gym rather than him because he knows just how much it affects me and my mood to come here.
And so many people think that, this is I'm working out because I want to look a certain way. And sure, everybody wants to look better naked. I get it. But the reality is, if they realized how much it would improve their relationships, how much it would improve their ability, at work. If I didn't train every day at 1:30, I guarantee you I make way worse decisions with Vitality. I guarantee you if I'm trying to program or whatever it is I'm doing, things are different.
Yeah.
And I want to stay fit, but I also want to stay sane.
Yep.
And I think that's what they sacrifice when they don't make that time for their working out. And it doesn't have to be CrossFit. It doesn't have to be. It could be body pump. It can be whatever it is. But
Something.
so many people once they stop, it becomes almost impossible to start back up again. And the reality is, with women are having babies, they're getting married, they're moving, their situation changes all the time. So we see so many people that come in here that it's taken them 4, 5, 6 years from having a baby before they can find that routine. And I would ask, my next question would be, do you think there was ever going to be a perfect time to fit fitness into your schedule? I mean, I don't think whether it's 2 years from now or 6 weeks after Anderson was born, there's still going to be those challenges with fitting this into your schedule.
Something always comes up, but that's also why I wake up at 4 a.m. and come at 5. And Jeff and I flip coins and argue about who's going to get to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, like on Sunday, I sit there and think, okay, what days am I going to get to come early, and when can Jeff come? And we just like coordinate when, because he travels every day for work. So when does he need to leave the house by so I can get home? You know, and like Monday's my day. I am always going to go in at 5 a.m. on Monday. And then the rest of the week is kind of up to him. And I know I can weave in and out. And like, if I need to come during childcare time, that's great. I can bring them and they can go in the kids' room and they're happy there. So planning ahead really
important
helps.
do you think it is that Jeff works out? Or again, I don't want to say working out as in CrossFit. I say that he enjoys fitness, and then B, do you think that it's even better that it's the same spot that he works out?
Yeah, because he understands that it's more than coming to work out here. Like, I'm coming to see all of you. When I come to work out at a class, I know I'm coming to see these friends, and they're going to be there to do it with me. And just the fact that, like, we have that common ground, something to talk about, like, all of our friends are here at Vitality, so we have that in common.
And that becomes a big challenge for people too, where one spouse wants to prioritize fitness. It's like someone that wants to eat healthy, but their spouse doesn't want to eat healthy. It almost never works. If Jeff didn't enjoy working out and didn't understand it, it'd probably be very frustrating for him when you're like, "Hey, I'm out at 4:45. I gotta get to the gym." He's like, "What in the world?" It would seem so crazy. And there's a lot of people, I guarantee you, that think, "Who in the world gets up at 4 o'clock?" But to Jeff and to you and to me, that's like
normal.
Cool. That's just the way it's going to be on Monday, and we'll plan around that. And that's why I think, again, you see the pushback that we get from people that are trying to fit something into their routine is, well, I've got kids and my husband works or whatever. Most people have kids. Most people have a significant other. It's never going to fit in this perfect little mold of, oh, okay, well, Mondays and Thursdays are great. I don't have to change anything. You're going to have to really force this square peg in a round hole to find the time. But now it becomes just a part of your routine. Now it's just a Monday. It's just a Tuesday.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I didn't come here. 6 days, 5 days a week.
What do you think the biggest challenge with being a mom and fitting fitness into your everyday routine?
I think it's just kids are unpredictable. You never know when someone's going to get sick. You never know the night before. You never know if someone's going to wake up in the middle of the night. So the next morning, like this morning, my alarm went off and I hit snooze and I'm just laid in bed and I'm like thinking of all the reasons I need to sleep more. And then I'm like, no, if I don't go work out, I don't get to go work out today. So it just makes you get up and go. But kids are unpredictable. So that's why for me, it's best to do it first thing in the morning, because who knows what's going to happen later on in the day.
Yeah, usually that early in the morning, most of the time your phone isn't going off. There's less traffic. People that that don't work out, whether it's coworkers or whatever, they're still sleeping. Nobody's bothering you.
And
it's
my
your
kids
time.
are still sleeping.
Nobody's bothering
Usually
you.
I get home before my kids wake up.
Yeah.
So
if you wait till later in the afternoon, all kinds of stuff's going on.
Something
Traffic,
always comes
people's up. Kids are, it's going to be worse.
I remember having a conversation with Jess when Charlie was like 2 or 3 and Reagan was like 9 or 10. And it was just, she was having such a hard time because at that age, like you said, you never know what you're going to get. And she could never get into like a routine. And Jess is I think she's like you. She's very structured in what she needs to have.
Yeah.
And kids just throw that completely out. And I'll be honest, like for me, and for a lot of like the males in that relationship, it doesn't affect us the same way because I was always here at work. I had to come in. I say I had to come in, but I came in. I worked at the gym normal hours, and I was here so I could go work out. The moms kind of get the short end of the stick in this, where if they only had a half day of preschool or whatever, Jess has got to go pick them up. And I remember telling her, I said, hey, at some point soon, there's going to be a time when they're both going to be in school and you're not going to know what to do with yourself. And now we're at that point. And now I can look back at where Jenny's at. I'm like, man, there's going to be a point where Connor and Anderson are in school all full day. And Jenny's going to be like, man,
now
what in the world am I going to do now? And that's kind of where Jess is. And, she's really kind of found, her structure that she craved for so many years. And I think it's going to come. But I think so many people, they're not in a position to take advantage of it because they don't prioritize that fitness part. So I think, you probably have, how many kids you got?
I don't know. I don't know.
I
never know.
Little Phillips running around the world.
I think if you can look at this and say, man, if new moms can find time for this, who can't? I mean, who?
Yeah.
They have the least predictable schedule of any profession that I think exists. Whether you're an entrepreneur, who I think would be the second hardest, small business type of owner, and then your employee that works 9 to 5. That's very predictable in my opinion. If you're a 9 to 5 guy, it might not be easy, but it's predictable. And I think with Jenny, it's very unpredictable, and she has to make it work. So that's why it made so much sense to look at this from, there's so many new moms that come in here, if they can do it. And I used to be that person, about 10 years ago that was like, man, Jess has got the really, she's staying at home with the kids. Let me tell you something.
It's not all that it's cracked up to be.
Wow. I'm not built for that.
Nothing a little Benadryl won't help.
Benadryl, forget that. Man.
Straight to bed.
And it's just a lot. There's so much that moms do on a daily basis that, man, that
it can be draining.
Yeah. And I think that people's knee-jerk reaction to that would be, man, I don't have any more to give.
Right.
But then I think about what we talked about already, what Jenny loses by not being here. Not only the mental part of it, but again, then you talk about the physical part of it. How many times do you bend over and pick up one of your kids every single day?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, 100 times. And now imagine if you're dealing with back pain every day, knee pain every day. You can't get comfortable sleeping because you're in pain every day. And I think a lot of women, a lot of moms have to deal with that. And I think the fitness part of this, in addition to your brain being healthy and not killing Jeff, is just your ability to be able to manage the two kids.
Oh, I tell my kids every day, be thankful mommy works out. Because here I am walking down the stairs. Connor's 30-some pounds. Tiny little girl. She's only like 18 pounds. But, I mean, I'm carrying them. You're carrying a laundry basket. Or just going out and playing in the yard with them, having to pick them up and put them on a slide.
Yeah.
There's just, I'm like, if I didn't work out, I don't know how I'd be able to keep up.
Yeah. And that's, and they're that age now. Imagine 4 or 5 years from now when they're doing everything.
Go play a sport and you can't even run with them because you're out of shape.
Yeah. I mean, I find myself out trying to play volleyball with Reagan, and I feel like a baby giraffe, trying to, I mean, there's so many things that are going to come down that, and I think moms, not to get off topic here, but I think moms have kind of gotten this bad rap of there's no time. If you invest time in yourself, it's selfish because whatever. And and maybe that's not a stigma. Do you agree with that? Like, do you think that?
I felt like that for a while, especially with Andy. I felt very bad when I would bring her to childcare, because she was born during 2020. She never left the house. So bringing her here, she lost her mind every single time I would leave her. And I would feel so bad that she doesn't know where I am. And then I'm like, you know what? She'll be okay. It's 1 hour. I can open up the door and hear if she's crying, and if I have to leave, then I'll leave. But I feel better once we leave, and it's so much better for her to come play with other kids too. So coming into this environment's good for her.
Yeah. And I just think that, moms, they need to have that level of fitness so they can take part in it. Because look, I mean, it used to be all the dads would be the ones playing, baseball and basketball and sports with their kids. Well, now, this whole work-life thing has kind of been flipped upside down, and now a lot of these guys are working crazy hours, they're never home, and now it's fallen on the mom to be like, okay, you know what, it's okay, cool, I'll work out with my kid. I mean, how many moms do we have coming in here that have their kids that come in with them? I mean, it's cool to see. I mean, it's got to be hard for Jeff sometimes getting emasculated by his wife in these workouts every day, because it's hard for me.
I make sure I put my scores in when I know I've beat him.
Trust me. Trust me. We had this conversation with Jess. Jess is like, I've only beat you once. I'm like, listen, I hear about it every day that you post, because then everybody comes to me and says something
Jess beat him
about
a couple weeks ago, and I brought it up to her. She didn't even know it. I don't know if she told you. I said, hey, she was right here at her office. I said, Jess, you didn't hear this from me, but I think you beat Steve today. And she said, oh, I did. And she looked. She's like, oh, I did. She said, and I got a sore back, a tight back, and I beat him today.
Yeah.
I said, uh-oh, Steve's going to hear this.
Jeff's ahead of me. I've been married 15 years. Jeff's already figured it out. Where now when I say, hey, I think you can get Jenny, he's like, no, dude.
No.
Nope, ain't going to happen.
Nope.
So he's, yeah. So, I mean, I think Jeff's the perfect match for Jenny. And, but I think this could be a good lesson for everybody to see that, especially from our point of view. I mean, we see it every day. Yeah. We hear these excuses. We hear them. And I get it. Being a mom has got to be super hard. Yeah. We're not built for this. But if moms can do it, and you can start to say, okay, it's not about being selfish for me. It's about finding that balance that allows me to be better at home, better with the relationships that I'm in every day. Because I know what I'm like if I skip my workout for 2 or 3 days. I know it. I'm just not a good person to be around. And I think, although I don't want to say it's a healthy response, but I think it is. I think you need to be able to crave that. Yeah. Or else.
Well, when I leave here, I'm going to go pick up my 2 kids, and they'll be with me all day. So this is the 1 hour I'm alone and not having someone need something from me.
Yeah, and to have an adult conversation.
Yeah, it's a good break.
Yeah, I'll get home at night.
A while back, it was something like most parents said they would do anything for their kids. Mm-hmm. They would die for their kids. But like 90-something% wouldn't live a healthy lifestyle for them. Yeah. They're like, oh, I'd take a bullet for my kid. I'd do this for my kid. And but they won't eat good. And they won't try to make time to do some kind of fitness, something, so they can see their kid graduate, see their kid get married one day, have grandkids. They put all that off.
And it's also teaching them to be healthy. Like if I'm doing something at home, Connor will lay on the floor. If I'm doing crunches or something, he'll lay on the floor and try and do it with me, or he thinks it's fun. And every time we're going to the gym, he's like, oh, we go to the gym today? He's excited. And it gives us something to do. You go play in the playroom, I get my time, and we're all good after we leave here, And
I think that's another thing that people that they underestimate is what you show that next generation is normal and healthy, because although my parents working out was not a huge thing when I was a kid. Yeah. My dad was always out. We'd play basketball, and he'd have
You played outside.
We played outside.
Yes.
But I remember my dad, we'd throw the football, and we had to start from me to you away. When he was my age, he was 40, he'd be like, I got to warm up the shoulder. Yeah. And we'd have to, because he just wasn't super mobile, And, that's just the way it was. And now I think people just are losing track of the importance of that, whether it's the connection with your kids or whatever it might be. So I'm hoping that people can listen to this and understand that it is possible, no matter how busy you are. It's never going to be easy, but and it's going to take some time. I think 2 to 3 weeks, you're gonna have to struggle. You're gonna have to figure out what that is. You're gonna have to listen to your kid cry in the playroom and feel like you're a bad mom. But guess what? Now, all Connor wants is a grind at the end of the day, a smoothie, and he's happy. You know, the kid loves it. I don't see him cry anymore. I don't see Anderson unhappy. It just takes some time. When you change anything, we're trying to change. I talk about the structure of our schedules. Same thing for these kids.
Yeah.
The kids want what they're accustomed to. When you take them out of that, they're not going to be happy.
Right.
Yeah. And most people, when they start a fitness routine, they're looking for a reason why they shouldn't do it or why they can't.
They're
do
dreading
it.
it. Most people that like your kids that grow up being involved in it and they're having a good time. So when they get older, somebody says, "Hey man, you want to go to the gym?" They'll be like,
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But if you've never been or been around it, or your parents or anybody didn't do it, you're going to grow up and somebody say, "Hey, you want to go to the gym?" You're like,
no.
"Oh, man, I ain't doing it. I don't do that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with
it's
that?"
Too much work.
It's like the unicorn that gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
To other people, that might be crazy. To me, that's like cool. That makes so much sense, you know. So this has been fun.
I'm also not a nighttime person, so.
What time do you guys go to bed at night?
So I'm in bed before Connor probably is in bed. So usually about 8-ish.
Yep.
And I'll make sure like the TV's off by 9. And we're going to sleep.
Yep. And
I mean, there's still light outside.
That's the part that people don't want to give up is they feel like they're
missing out.
Yeah.
I'm missing out on my Netflix show.
Yeah, it's like some nights do I feel like I want to have more of a night and watch a show or something, like absolutely, but I can do that Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah. That's why they make the DVR
Something to
and all
look
that
forward
now.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the compliance level of going to sleep at 11 o'clock and getting up at 4 a.m. is close to zero.
Yeah.
So you're giving yourself every opportunity to succeed by prioritizing what time you go to bed. And, you know.
Very true.
So, well, I think this has been great. I don't need to see anything else. Jenny will now be the new co-host of the Built by Vitality podcast.
Thank God.
If you guys agree, comment below. But thank you so much for being on here.
Yeah,
This was fun.
absolutely.
All right, guys. Until next time, this is Built by Vitality podcast.